I was gonna say, yo, this is probably gonna be the last. I know I say this a lot, but this is probably gonna be. I really mean it this time. This is probably gonna be my last video. Not because I want it to be my last video, but because I'm pretty sure YouTube is definitely gonna delete my account. And for good reason. You know, before they do, I just want to say that I do have an issue because I really want to. The reason why there's a chip shortage is because I feel, honestly, you know, I feel like they can combine all the consoles into one, and instead of having multiple motherboards and multiple CPU chips, they could just have multiple like SSDs and the same motherboard, same chip that runs, you know, the Nintendo operating system, the Xbox operating system, and the PlayStation operating system all in one. And then like each console saves to its own SSD and has its own operating system on its own SSD. You know what I mean? That way you wouldn't have to print so many motherboards and chips and all that RAM and all that. It adds up. And that's why it kind of sucks for the gaming industry, because, you know, that's not really the point of the video, though. The point of the video was that the reason I have not traded in my PlayStation 3 to GameStop, even though I really want to, is because I can't play Street Fighter Cross Tekken on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 unless I sign up for PlayStation Premium. Now, I have no problem with signing up for PlayStation Premium, but the point I'm trying to make is that I already own these games during the PlayStation 3 era. And there's a lot of other amazing, you know, games that I love from Capcom that aren't even 3D, and I still think they're some of the best games of all time. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not into fighting games, but you want to make it feel like it's kind of like a fighting game, you know, Capcom made a puzzle game that was similar to Tetris in a way. It's not necessarily Tetris, but it's similar to a puzzle game like that, where like you can see the characters on the middle, like the top of the middle screen. They're like kind of caricatures of the original characters and characters from the Capcom universe. And like the objective is to kind of combine colors till you build like a real big like gem. And then basically you kind of have to, if you find the same color like diamond, you drop it on that color and it'll break anything that's connected to it from the top to the bottom. So like if I have a really big red gem on the bottom, only a red circle will break it, or a white diamond will break it. And you only get the white diamonds rarely, like once per round. It's one of the best games, but it's stuck on PlayStation 3. They remastered it and released it and released it on PlayStation 3. It should be on smartphones. That should be the definitive Capcom game besides Street Fighter 4 that's on smartphones. It's that good. It should be the smartphone Capcom game, man. It deserves to be a touchscreen Capcom game. I swear to God. I don't know why it's not. But like they had games like Darkstalkers that they remade. It's called Darkstalkers Resurrection. They had, you know, my personal favorite, which kind of brought me back into, not brought me back into it, but, you know, I was a fan ever since I was a little kid, but I eventually just stopped buying consoles and stopped buying games. You know what I'm saying? Mainly because, you know, my parents just wouldn't get it for me. So once I got a job, I started getting all my own stuff again. But, you know, I was into other stuff at the time. I wasn't into, you know, video games like as much as like probably, you know, I always was into video games, but I was always like a console generation behind what was current. You know what I'm saying? So like I was playing on PlayStation 2 when everyone was already on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. So like I was kind of forced to play, you know, Street Fighter 25-year anniversary collection that came with hyper fighting, Super Street Fighter 2 Hyper, which had all the variations of Street Fighter 2 you know, in the game, and then it had Third Strike online. Third Strike. All right, so that game was a collection that they had on PlayStation 2. I'm not gonna lie, I did not buy that brand new. I bought it used because by the time I found out about the game from a white boy at my job, you know, I didn't even know the game. Like, I played the original Street Fighter 3s, but I played the original Street Fighter 3. Whereas Third Strike was way better than the original 2 versions of the game. That's the main reason I don't trade my PlayStation 3 in. And it's a shame to me, and developers should be ashamed to even like try to do a lawsuit with PlayStation, because they already made a deal with PlayStation so that PlayStation could put it on the PlayStation Store. And the problem I have with it is that it's no longer on the PlayStation Store on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. And it's not fair to me as a customer who has an account on the PlayStation Network that I'm unable to access, you know, some of my older games that should have transferred over. And the point I'm trying to make is that I would have already traded in my PlayStation 3 to GameStop years ago if they just made it a reality where I could still play Street Fighter Cross Tekken and all the original variations of Street Fighter 4 and Super Puzzle Fighter, which in my opinion is like one of the best Capcom games of all time, besides Okami. I still consider that to be, you know, my top 2 favorite games of all time. You know what I'm saying? No doubt about it. I think that's the best first party single player game that Capcom ever did. You know, that's still to me the best game they ever did. I still consider that to be, you know, Jet Set Radio and from Sega and I'm talking about Japanese developers. Those, for me, those are the best ones they ever did. You know what I'm saying? And Ultra Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix. I cannot play Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. That game is excellent. It's way better than, in my opinion, when they added the ability to throw escape in the new variation that they released on the Switch of HD Remix that has Violent Ken and Evil Ryu as playable characters, even though Violent Ken's stance is identical to regular Ken, when we all know that in SVC Chaos, when Violent Ken was first introduced besides the anime in an actual game, he had a zombie stance. Like, he looked like he was possessed and he was like some sort of zombie Ken. And it was cool as hell. And it was awesome. And then, for whatever reason, I guess the developers that were recreating the character were not as big of a fan of Violent Ken and Street Fighter like I am. And they didn't realize that they gave Ken the same stance, even though it's actually supposed to be a completely different stance for Violent Ken than the traditional Ken character. And you would think that the developers of the game that make it, Capcom, would have realized that, but apparently not. Because they released the game on the Switch, and that's not him. That is not him. I'm positive that's not him. Because I bought a used Xbox original, which someone sent to me, and it was mail fraud because the console ended up bricking on me like not even a week later, and the controller broke on me, the original Duke controller that everyone's trying to pay for, like $100 online for it, which I was gonna try to flip and sell it for $100 until the damn thing broke on me the first time I played the goddamn thing. And then I tried to get my money back from Amazon, and they was like, there's nothing we could do. I was like, what do you mean there's nothing you could do? This dude just screwed me out of $120 to $130. What are you talking about? There's nothing you could do. What the hell kind of shady business are you running here? The guy screws me over for $130 and I don't get my money back and there's nothing you could do? What is this, like a Seinfeld episode? I mean, Jesus Christ. Back to the subject at hand. The reason I think PlayStation should
PlayStation
cancel.
Print new notification.
Okay. All right.
Video is paused.
Oh my God.
Broadcasting only mic audio.
Okay. Broadcasting only on mic audio. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I forgot.
Street Fighter 6.
I forgot. You can't use the word PS on your controller, otherwise your controller will start like doing stuff. And the worst is when you say that or something similar to that while you're in a game and the controller, like during a ranked match, decides to open up the PlayStation Store for some reason. And you're like, what? Like they really trying to get me heated right now. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. The point I'm trying to make is that, in my opinion, actually, it's not even an opinion, it's a fact, that these video game developers made a deal with PlayStation to sell their game on the PlayStation Store. Now, I just don't understand why the PlayStation Network and the people that run it cannot combine the information from PlayStation 3, which I'm assuming is all just like web designers. So I just don't understand why it's so difficult for them to add what is relevant on my account from back then to now, because something has happened since the transition of PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, and nothing has changed from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5. And I do have a problem with that, because there's a lot of digital games that I bought during that generation, and it's the only reason I still have my PlayStation 3. Okay? You know, obviously I know that you know, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that I do want to get rid of my PlayStation 3. You know, GameStop has already offered me $70 for it. That's more or less around the price that you're going to get for something like that if you sell it used anyway. So I was like, all right, let me just let me sell it to GameStop and get the store credit or whatever, and I'll buy something else with it. The point I'm trying to make is that, like, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, you know, you guys did nothing to all the fans that badmouthed the game Street Fighter Cross Tekken and talked bad about it and thought it was a terrible game. I thought it was one of the best games Capcom ever did. In fact, I thought it was better than Street Fighter 4. I did think some of the Tekken characters were a little bit broken and too damn good. I thought some of the Tekken characters were too damn good, like Xiao Yu and like Heihachi and Kazuya and, you know, Alyssa. Like, you know, I thought they were too goddamn good. I thought Jack was like, I don't know who the hell designed Jack, but Jack was like, I felt like Jack was like I kind of felt like he may have been the worst character on the Tekken side. Whereas, like, in real life, in Tekken 7 and Tekken 8, he's like easily one of the best characters in the game, and no one ever gives him the benefit of the doubt. But like, he has always been God tier, in my opinion. He hits you like 3 times and the round is over. What are you talking about? He's not top tier. He's always been super God tier. And the Grizzly Bear is good as hell too. A lot of people say the Grizzly Bear is one of the worst characters in the game, but goddamn, I think the Grizzly Bear is good as hell. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. I'm talking about high-level players. I'm not talking about a random guy that just, like, hopes to win. I'm talking about a player that really understands the game. Yeah. That's the point I'm trying to make, man. Like, I think PlayStation should just... the word PS. Okay. When my console from Sony says that you know what I mean, they did a deal with these companies, right? And the reason I'm saying that is because you create your own chip shortage. The European Union and all their descendants, whatever the hell they may be, that are here in the United States, that have complete control and can make this a reality, you create your own chip shortage. You know what I'm saying? They complain about how there's a chip shortage of RAM, and of course there is. You allow companies that no one supports and no one ever buys things from to use your RAM, your memory, your CPU, your motherboards, your plastic, your glass. I mean, of course there's going to be a chip shortage. You're trying to print 7 million, you know, iPhones every year. Of course there's going to be a chip shortage. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't have to upgrade their smartphone every year. It could be like every 4 years or something like that. A phone should easily last you like 10 years if you take care of it. You know what I'm saying? I understand it's a business, but goddamn, like, the point I'm trying to make is that, like, I just want to be able to trade in that console because it's literally just like kind of sitting in my room. And as much as I love the console and I love the games on it, I just kind of want to get rid of it already and move on and like be able to play those games that I feel like PlayStation Network. While I'm streaming, the PlayStation's gonna, you know, you have to turn that off as designers of the Sony console. You have to change that. You have to change that. When someone is streaming or playing the game, all the voice command functionality should be disabled. I don't know how difficult that is for a programmer to do that, but that's definitely a feature that should be there. And like, you know, it's people like me that's bring it up in the first place that make it better in the future. So like, as much as you guys are like, oh my God, he's a heretic, you know, he's a heresy, you know, like let's burn him at the stake for being a heretic. Even though he's telling the truth, let's just burn him at the stake and get it over with. Like, what? Like, like, say it out loud like a man then. Say it then. But the point I'm trying to make is that I really, you know, I'm a huge fan of Capcom. In fact, I was a fan when everyone had already forgot about the game. And when everyone had moved on to like newer titles and like 3D games, I still love Tekken. I still love Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? But like, I stayed with Capcom the whole entire time. And when even friends of mine were making fun of the game and they were like, yo, you still play that? Like, they were laughing at me for playing the game. Like, they were laughing at me for still finding enjoyment in Super Turbo and Third Strike. Because that's all I had. At the time, that's all I had. I bought a used PlayStation 2. And I swear to God, the first game I bought for it was the 20. I bought it used. I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't even know about the existence of the game. I knew about Street Fighter 3, but you have to understand that when Street Fighter 3 came out on Dreamcast, it was not as good. It was not as amazing as Third Strike. The voice acting was better on Third Strike. The gameplay was better on Third Strike. I felt like they added way more characters and refined a lot of the characters that kind of felt like duplicates, like Yoon and Yang. You know, like they finally felt like they became their own entity. You know, they added a lot of unique characters that like should still be in the game. Like 12, in my opinion, should still be in the game. He's one of the best characters. He should be in Marvel vs. Capcom. He is such a Marvel vs. Capcom character. Do you know how reckless he would be with a Marvel vs. Capcom team? Where you could do the hard punch whiplash close range and pressure your opponent with it? That's one of the strongest moves in Marvel vs. Capcom. It's to have an assist character like Chun-Li who does the lightning legs and pins your character down. You can advance guard it. You have to be careful. But what I mean, you should only do it when you're kind of close to your opponent, or you could super your opponent for trying to counter. So like if he tries to counter your assist, you could counter his counter by, you know, countering him for trying to counter your assist. So in other words, he's going to learn that he has to kind of deal with it. And if he tries to advance guard you, you could like come in and pressure him again and try to build enough time that you could come with a second assist. Like that has always been like the stronger assist in Marvel is the ones that could really pin you down for a long time, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken. As you can see, one of the best players in the world, even though I still believe with all my heart that like when it comes to Street Fighter, now I'm not talking about Marvel vs. Capcom, I'm talking about Street Fighter. I'm the best player of all time. You know what I'm saying? There's no denying that. There's no denying that. There's no denying that. You know what I'm saying? There's no player that could tell me otherwise, because all these players that people think they're household names at one point in their life, if they're playing online and they're grinding like I grind, they ran into me and they ran into a brick wall. They were a Corvette flying at a 200 miles an hour, and then suddenly I showed up as a brick wall and they ran right into it. And then the Corvette no longer looks like a Corvette no more. Now they got to total it and practice and realize, oh, damn, I didn't know I could get beat like that. But the point I'm trying to make is that, you know what I'm saying? I'm a huge fan of you guys, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, I'm one of your true fans that supported you back before that you were trying to bribe all your fans. Before you started trying to bribe all your fans and bribe everybody to try to play the game, and before all these fake fans of Street Fighter started pretending to be fans again and started pretending to be like fans of the series, right? Before all that happened, I actually was a fan. And people were making fun of me for being a fan. And it still did not deter me. It still did not stop me from being a fan. Because I legitimately found enjoyment in playing Third Strike and Super Turbo, because at the time, that's all I had. And I played it religiously. Like, that was my way of stopping, like, me from, like, you know, from just masturbating, like, every chance I got. Like, I literally, like, that was my way to stop myself from masturbating every chance I got. I literally, like, religiously was playing the 25-year anniversary collection of Third Strike and Super Street Fighter, I mean Hyper Street Fighter 2 Turbo, or whatever the hell it's called, which a lot of people consider to be you know, in the new collection they thought it was the same thing as Ultra Street Fighter 2, and I'm like, no, that's not the same thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? You talking stuff you don't really know right now, and you broadcasting it. Hyper Street Fighter 2 is completely different from Ultra Street Fighter 2. In fact, I prefer Hyper Street Fighter 2. I prefer Super Street Fighter 2 if I had to choose, because you could only break the throw. You could not escape the throw. In Ultra Street Fighter 2, you can actually escape the throw. And guess what? Against a Dhalsim player, guess what? You might as well not even try. Unless you have Ryu and you use his spin kick with his projectile, you might as well not even try, man. And guess what? A real good Dhalsim player, he don't even use the damn projectile when you pick right Ryu. So now what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make is that PlayStation Network, please, as a fan of you guys for a long time, I've been supporting you guys for a long time. If you guys know anyone in the network, just have them release the games from the PlayStation 3 era on people's account, man. Or at least re-release the games and I'll rebuy them. That's how much I like those games, man. Street Fighter Cross Tekken was a phenomenal 2D fighter. It was way more offensive than Street Fighter 4, in my opinion. Like in Street Fighter 4, all people did was focus attack, dash backwards. Focus attack, dash backwards. You throw a projectile, they focus attack, dash backwards. And then they have Ultra, and then you can't throw projectile no more. That's a hell of a strategy. That's part of the game, but you know, I felt like it kind of took away from the purity of what Street Fighter is supposed to be. When they start adding too much meter into the game, especially early on, like what they did in Street Fighter Alpha 3 and Street Fighter 6, they give people too much meter early on, and it makes the game way more boring, in my opinion, as a longtime fan, than what it should be. Because there's so much meter available at the beginning of the fight, everyone's afraid to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's kind of afraid to do anything because there's so much goddamn meter in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, as a longtime fan, I didn't want to make the video that long. I was going to play Street Fighter 6 for a little bit, but I was not going to stream it because, you know, Street Fighter 6, when you play it offline, the game feels way better. I'm not going to deny that. When you play the game online, there's a lot of valuable information that's just not there, and it makes it hard to like react to it, and it's hard to really tell a lot of times what they're even doing, especially if they use like light characters. That was the point I'm trying to make, is that, you know what I'm saying? But that's the point I'm trying to make, is that, you know, like I said, I hope they do it. There's a lot of games like I damn near beat the entire Dragon's Dogma game on PlayStation 3, and I really don't want to start all over. But I really don't want to play it on PlayStation 3 no more. So like I'm left with like, you know, a predicament right now. Like, what the hell? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, do I trade it in and start all over with Dragon's Dogma? Or do I finish the game on PlayStation 3, you know, and feel all alone and secluded on the PlayStation 3 that no one ever plays anymore? You know, there's like 4 people playing Call of Duty on PlayStation 3 right now, and they're all god tier, so like it's not even fun playing with them. But yeah, that's I'm gonna end the video there, man. I really hope you guys make the right decision. I feel like sometimes white people, like, and white businessmen, I think sometimes they interfere too much with the interaction of developers entertaining the fans. And like, I feel like a lot of times lawyers and businessmen try to, you know, just stick their hands in everyone's pocket without even doing anything. And it like, and ultimately it just ruins the entire entertainment industry. Instead of just like, you know, I try my best, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the heat of the moment, I'm a very competitive guy. So you may have heard me say things that normally, if I was not so competitive at the moment, I probably would have never said half of the stuff I said. And if I wasn't being tormented day after day, night after night, I probably wouldn't have said what I said as well. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I thought it was just I was just trying to be funny. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to offend nobody, to be honest. I thought we were talking about video games here. You know what I'm saying? So, and I thought we was talking about commodities that people put out and imagery that people put out about themselves that people should be able to comment on. Like, you're putting out a product and I have the right as a consumer to, you know, comment on this product. I bought the Big Mac. I can say, yo, you know what I'm saying? I love the Big Mac. You know, that's a bad example because I love the Big Mac. But you get what I'm saying though, right? Like, as a business, you're putting out a commodity and I listened to it, or I played it and I went, you know what? As a longtime fan, I'm offended that you said this. How come I don't get my apology for that? I'm offended that you started talking about this and that. You know what I'm saying? I'm offended about a lot of things you said, but you ain't hearing me bother you about it. I moved on with my life. You know what I'm saying? I moved on with my life. The point I'm trying to make is that, you know, I hope that, like, white people, I know it takes a lot of talent and a lot of hard work to make a game. I'm not going to deny that. I probably will never have the talent or the brains to ever make a game like you guys can. And I really mean that. And I appreciate what you guys do. But I want you to also understand that I'm a longtime fan. And when I see that you're steering my beloved franchise in the wrong direction, I'm jumping in. I'm snatching you out of the driver's seat. And now I'm trying to steer with you. I'm putting my hands on the steering wheel with you. And now I'm steering it with you. And I'm trying to get you back on track. That's what I was trying to do. And if you guys can't appreciate that, you know, so be it. You know what I'm saying? I did my best. I honestly gave you a lot of, you know, heartfelt, like, you know, not you know, like what I feel the game, you know, should have and shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? It's the honest truth. It's the honest truth. You know what I'm saying? In my honest opinion. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And for Christ's sakes, can you give Alex a t-shirt in Street Fighter 6? Can you please put a t-shirt on him? like a black one, hopefully, long sleeve, so I can actually see what he's doing. Because it's like literally fighting the Invisible Man. And like a lot of times, believe it or not, I'm still winning. And I'm still spanking a lot of these guys. And like, I'm not even gonna lie. I played a JP player with Dulcim the other day. And the only way he was able to beat me, like I literally was wiping the floor with him. And then he would activate the level 2. And it was impossible to tell what the hell was going on. I could not tell what the hell he was hitting me with. You know what I'm saying? And V reversal should be the way it was in Street Fighter V, not the way it is in Street Fighter 6. That would also solve a lot of issues with Street Fighter 6. The way they had it in Street Fighter V, whoever thought of making it like that, although Guile and Blanca and characters like that were kind of excluded from that V reversal limitation, where like, for example, if your opponent was pressuring you and you tried to do V reversal, like for example, if you tried to do an invincible dragon punch with Ryu or Ken while your opponent was pressuring you, you would get V reversal instead, and then they would counter the V reversal attempt. So in other words, you had to learn how to play defense in Street Fighter V. Or a V reversal would come out and you would get countered for being a little too eager. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want, like I said, I never really want to make these videos too long, but like I start sidetracking myself and like I start rambling on and on about a lot of stuff. But, you know, I got to admit that like Capcom, thanks to your PlayStation 2 release of that game, I did stop, like, because I was like really into the Bible at that point. And like, I honestly, sincerely thought that God was going to like strike me with a lightning bolt just for masturbation. So like, I was like, okay, I got to stop. Like, I really got to stop. And like, you became the remedy for that. And that's why I became so good at the game. Was that instead of masturbation, I would literally play against the computer in Super Turbo, and I would laugh because no matter how hard you try, like Zangief out of nowhere would start grabbing you and humping you, and he would hump you for like 3 minutes straight, and you couldn't get out of it, and it was hilarious. And like sometimes, like in the heat of the moment, when you were about to win the third round and move on with the game, like the computer would be like, no, you're going to lose now, and there's nothing you could do about it because I'm the computer and you're just a useless human being. And I would go, what the fuck? Like, I almost finished that syllable. I only said F you. I did not say the whole word. That's how you say it online without saying it online, basically. But that was the point I'm trying to make, is that, you know, I truly was a fan, not, you know, even though everyone else was on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, you know, a friend of mine told me, yo, you know, that game that you play on your PlayStation 2, you know, they released that as a digital game. And I was like, what do you mean they released that as a digital game? Because I was already playing on GGPO. I knew you could play online. You know what I'm saying? I was playing on GGPO with all those guys. Those 20 players, those 10, 15 players that were there every day, I was playing with them every day on my computer when I found out that you could actually play Third Strike online. And that's all I was doing at that time. But like when I found out that Xbox Live had hyper fighting and you could play online, I was like, what? So I went to my friend's house. I played it. I fell in love with Street Fighter again. And so did like hundreds of thousands of other people. And I was like, this was not about money. This was all about bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? And I was beating top 10 players back then, even though what I knew about the game back then and what I know about the game now is light years away from each other. Like, I know way more about the game now than I ever did back then. You know, that's why I'm able to dominate the way I do, is because I just have so much experience in playing the game. I don't just rely on a level 2 from JP and pretend to be a god at Street Fighter. I don't try to turn the game into a 2 or 3 versus 1. You know what I'm saying? Which is unfair as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like Rashid's Tornado, for example, that's turning the game a 2-on-1. JP's level 2, that's turning the game into a 2-on-1. Now there's 2 things attacking you instead of 1. And it's really an unfair advantage that should not be in Street Fighter at all. Because if the point I'm trying to make is that I'm not the best Dawson player in the world, but I know I'm one of the best that still plays the character. I believe I'm probably top 2. Me and Mr. Crimson, definitely, I think I'm even better than him. But he's still one of the best. I put him at number 2 beyond after me. No offense to him, but I'm just that legendary. What was I gonna say? The point I'm trying to make is that yo, I was gonna say something real funny, but I held myself back. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is that please, as white people, I'm begging you, please stop holding us back who work so hard in the community from being able to entertain each other and enjoy the wonderful content that you guys create and put out. You know, stop being so strict with the laws and the businessmen. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, Capcom already did a deal with PlayStation to sell their game on the PlayStation Store. Guess what? The PlayStation Store still exists, even on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. So, in other words, what I'm trying to say is stop trying to force people to pay an extra $10 a month for PlayStation Premium to play the same games that I already own on PlayStation 3. So, in other words, what I'm saying is it's obviously a reality to play these games on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 through PlayStation Premium. But my point is, why are you forcing me to do that when I already supported you guys and bought these games during the PlayStation 3 generation? And it's really not fair, is what I'm saying. As a longtime fan, I'm disappointed in you guys. And I'm kind of offended by your guys' decision-making process as a business that makes billions of dollars per year. Not even per year, per month. Every few months, every quarter, per quarter, you guys are making hundreds of millions, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, maybe even billions. It's not fair and it's not right for you guys as a business to do this to the fan base that made it a reality for you guys to be billionaires in the first place. Stop being greedy and shicey with your fan base. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the point I'm trying to make of this video. I would have traded in my PlayStation 3, and so would tens of thousands of other people that still probably have their PlayStation 3 for the same reason. And guess what? Now you have motherboards again. Now you have controllers and RAM and chips and storage and metal and plastic and all this stuff and cabling. You have all this stuff now. You can recycle it and turn it into better stuff in the future, or just keep it. I don't really give a damn. I don't really give a damn. I just want to make sure that I'm getting mines, bro. I bought the games, bro. Stop denying me my glory, bro. God damn, bro. I want to play Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I still think it's one of the best Capcom fighting games of all time. I still want to play Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix. I thought that was the best variation of Super Turbo that they ever created. It really is. I would love to play Umahara. I would love to play Umahara in Super Turbo. I would love to play Umahara in Super Turbo. I probably would have to pick E Honda. I probably would. Or Blanca. I probably would. But I don't think he could beat me if I pick Blanca or E Honda. I really don't. I don't think he has it. I really don't. I think once you take away his projectile and Super Turbo, it's over. It's over. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it there, man. Because that's his name. His name is Daigo Umahara. And he's the best. I'm not going to deny he's one of the best Japanese fighting game players of all time when it comes to joystick players, you know, for the generation and everything. But let me tell you something. The game has evolved, and even though in Street Fighter 6 you have a better chance to parry on a joystick, guess what? I play you joystick players all the time, and I know exactly which ones you are. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because you guys always struggle blocking cross-ups and blocking stuff like that. I swear to God, you guys are so free. You guys are so free. I'm going to end the video there, guys. I'm the greatest Street Fighter player that ever lived, and I never played on joystick a day in my life. And let me tell you something, Street Fighter 5 to me was one of the best Street Fighters they ever did. I said that a long time ago. I thought Mortal Kombat 11 is the best 2D fighter of all time. They still didn't fix a few things in the game with the command grab. You should have to combo the command grab like Kano and Jax. But for whatever reason, a few characters in the game didn't abide by those rules. And I thought those were the only flaws that the game had. You know what I'm saying? In my personal opinion as a fan, I'm talking about from a fan's perspective, gameplay perspective. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not trying to sound like I'm hating or none of that. You know what I'm saying? Best 2D fighter of all time. Number one, for me, it used to be Third Strike. It used to be Third Strike until I played Mortal Kombat 11. And I think even Mortal Kombat 9 is on the list. But first, hold up. Number one, I know this is contrary to popular belief. Mortal Kombat 11, I'm going to put number one. Mortal Kombat 1, I'm going to put at number 2. And then Mortal Kombat 9, I'm going to put at number 3. And then I never played Mortal Kombat 10 like that. But Mortal Kombat X, I would imagine that Mortal Kombat 10 was still probably even better than Third Strike. No offense. I love Third Strike. It's an excellent 2D fighter, but there's not too many options when it comes to overheads. It's very difficult to combo overheads in the game, even in Street Fighter 6. My suggestion is that they bring the freeze frame into Street Fighter like they did in Mortal Kombat 11 Crush Counter. If you could add that to Street Fighter some way through the programming for the new game, I promise you it'll probably be the best Street Fighter of all time. When you land a universal overhead or an overhead attack, there has to be a freeze frame there. And you get a free combo after that. If you land a hard sweep on your opponent, you should get a free combo after that. That move is unsafe on block. And if you use it to counter your opponent and you're successful for using a move that's unsafe on block, you should get a free combo after that. And guess what? When you hard sweep your opponent in Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, you do not get a free combo after that. Even though realistically you should, because it's unsafe on block. So if I'm good enough to use a normal attack that's unsafe on block and counter my opponent, I should be rewarded with a free combo after that. That's another thing I would change. I would make more moves in Street Fighter look like they're standing, but they hit low. Like, for example, Raiden, the Thunder God from Mortal Kombat, in Mortal Kombat 11, he has, I think it's back circle, back hard kick, that it looks like he's standing, but it's a low sweep. Obviously, that move has to be safe on block. Obviously, it has to be safe on block. Making that move unsafe on block is very cruel. You know what I'm saying? It's very cruel. Just like Kimberly's startup for her overhead in Street Fighter 6 is very cruel. It's almost unusable. The startup is almost unusable unless they're completely drained of their stamina. It really is almost unusable. In fact, in my opinion, another thing, like I said before, if I could, I would change the ability, like forward hard punch with Ryu in solar plexus. I think it's called solar plexus. I would not allow players to use overhead or solar plexus during drive rush. I think drive rush should be limited to only being a combo tool, and that's it. Either you dropped your combo or you continued your combo. If I was designing the game. Because there's a lot of players that pressure you with drive rush that have no idea what they're doing and have no real talent and just hope for the best. And I think that takes away from what Street Fighter really is about. And it's about making good decisions quickly. I always felt like Street Fighter was all about making good decisions very fast and making your opponent really like second guess, like not second guess, but like it felt almost like a coin toss at all times with Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't know if a player was going to be point blank range with you, and you're like, okay, he's obviously going to grab, and then he does like a projectile right in your face, and you're like, what? Like, he did a late Hadouken on me, bro. He did a late Hadouken on me? Like, he really threw a late Hadouken on me and tried to say, hold that. He told me, hold that. And like, when you're playing online, sometimes it's hard as hell to tell if he did that or not. You're like, okay, it looked like you're about to grab Hadouken, and then you get knocked out, and you're like, what? You're like, what? Like, that was part of what made the game kind of fun, though. You know what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make is that special moves in Street Fighter always were the way to stop real lightning fast normal attacks from people just being real cheap and just doing crouching light kick, crouching light kick, crouching light kick. And standing jab, grab. Standing jab, you know, sweep. It was always the way to stop that. And then once they took that away in Third Strike, it became a game where all you were trying to do is jab and grab your opponent. Whereas before that, it was like, no, you could do a super. You could always do super, but you could do a dragon punch, you could do a flash kick, and you always had invincibility. And like, honestly, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. The problem with the thing I feel that is wrong with it is that not every character could do it. Like, Kimberly can't even do it unless she has a level 1. And it's really unfair to that character particularly. You get what I'm saying? That's the complaints I have of the game, is that sometimes I feel like the character design is just a little unfair and unbalanced. And if they would just tweak it a little bit more, it would be it would be one of the best Street Fighters of all time. I love that you can eat, like, it's way easier than ever before to combo an overhead. In fact, wait, no, I'm wrong about that. I think it's the first time. Wait, no. In Street Fighter 5, was the first time. Afterwards, I felt like they patched it. But I remember I was able to land an overhead with Ryu when the game first came out and activate the V trigger and then do a EX uppercut, a drive meter a V uppercut or whatever the hell it's called, the enhanced meter dragon punch. You know what I'm saying? And combo it. And then, like, later on they patched it. Like, I don't know if they patched it or maybe it was just a mistake on my part. But as far as I'm concerned, besides that, Street Fighter 6 was the first game that you could actually... No, Dudley and Street Fighter 4. I'm wrong about that. Dudley and Street Fighter 4 had a huge unfair advantage in comparison to all the characters in the game. The reason I say that is because it's forward hard kick, forward roundhouse. You could do that in Third Strike, but you had to have a super. The point I'm trying to make is without meter, you were able to combo it in Street Fighter 4. Without meter, you could combo it in Street Fighter 4. But in Third Strike, you could combo the overhead, but you had to have a level, what was it, level 3, Super R3, right? You had to have Super R3 available, and then you could combo the forward hard kick overhead. And it automatically, not automatically, but it guaranteed you a free super if you landed the overhead. And another thing that made it difficult, especially if the character didn't have meter in Third Strike, was that if he gets a hard knockdown on you and he taunts and throws the rose at you, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that rose does hit as an overhead, doesn't it? Am I wrong about that, or it just hits as a mid? I could be wrong about that, but most players fear that the crouching light kick super, so they stay crouch block, so it opens up the forward roundhouse overhead option, especially when there's a rose out and they have no meter in the corner. Particularly, this is a corner setup. Yeah, I'm not. No. You know, like all day and all night, they wonder if I murdered anybody, and I'm like, I've been saying it for like 10 years, I've been saying it for like what, 10 years? I feel like it's gone like 10 years already. That I'm like literally telling like people like all day, all night, like, for the love of God, no, I'm not. Like, Jesus Christ. All right, it's like, no, that's what you guys are doing. Like, maybe someone should be asking you that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, back to the subject at hand. Like I said, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. You know, I wish you guys would understand that, like, all the money you guys are making is from people like me and fans like me. And and sometimes I think that white people forget that. As businessmen and as corporations, I think sometimes they do forget that. And as companies that make hundreds of millions of dollars, all it takes for them to re-release Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Tatsunoko vs. Capcom and all that stuff, it doesn't take much. It doesn't cost much. In fact, Nintendo should allow them to sell it for free. They should waive the fees for these companies just to do us a favor, and then they split the profits 50-50 or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Or 75-25. I don't know what the hell it is. All right, man, I'm gonna end the video there, man. Like I said, you know what I mean? Like I said, everything I'm saying is true. If you guys want to pretend and act like it's not true, maybe you guys should be considering looking into them, you know, psychologically. Because someone that pretends that something's not real when it is, and pretends that people are this or that when they're not, and they know all about it, there's something very bizarre with them. And maybe those are people that you should remove. Those are people that you should remove from their position of power because they're making you look bad. Instead of like trying to condemn and, like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of condemning, you know, innocent people, maybe you should focus more on people from your community that obviously have a power trip and they have nothing better to do. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you should just pick better, you know, better people to be in those positions that have more understanding and more, you know, better approach to the situation. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna end the video there. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to get my friends, you know, my longtime rival in Street Fighter to play with me, but he don't want to play with me. So, you know, he thinks he's cool all of a sudden because he got a job where he's making like $25 an hour now. And all of a sudden he thinks he's Tom Cruise or something. And he forgot that I exist now. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden he think Swiss Beats or something. He think he Swiss Beats all of a sudden. And he think he like too cool to hang out and talk to me now. But it's all right. It's your loss, not mine. It's your loss, not mine. Life goes on, baby. That's my motto. But life goes on. I don't need you. I don't need you. It's your loss, not mine. You know what I'm saying? He clown on me all the time. He clown on me all the time, and then when I say something back, he get mad. He want to cry about it. All he do is make fun of me. Every time I talk to him, he make fun of me. And I sit there and I let it slide. I let it slide. But the minute I say something, he want to cry about it. He want to block my number. He want to block my number. He want to block my number and act like he all important all of a sudden. He better stop speeding down the goddamn street before I call the cops on his ass. All right, guys, I'm done, man. I'm done. I'm done with the video, man. I'm done. I hope you guys appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I knew about spirituality for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to hang out with white boys in the suburbs, and let me tell you something. White boys in the suburbs, they don't stop thinking about you. That's all they do. I regret hanging out with them in the first place. I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I love them. They're my friends and all that. But like, to be honest, I wish I would have chose some other friends. If I knew they was going to be like that, I would have never been friends with them in the first place. You know what I'm saying? With a female, I really don't care because, I mean, I do care, but, you know, it's different with a female. You know what I mean? She got something that you just never have. You ain't got that. So I'm going to let a lot of things slide with a female that I like, you know what I'm saying? She could damn near run me over with a car and I would probably still forgive her. Just so I could get another chance in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? She could run me over with a car and I'll probably forgive her as long as I can get another chance in the bedroom. It's different when it comes to a female. You know what I mean? They do things that you know, you just can't provide for me. We're not bosom buddies and none of that. We'll never be bosom buddies. You know what I'm saying? I hate to disappoint y'all, but if my friends are listening, I hate to disappoint y'all, but we'll never be bosom buddies. You know what I'm saying? We'll never be bosom buddies. Get it through your thick head. You know what I mean?
Accessories, home, broadcast, Street Fighter 6.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell my nephew, man. I tell my nephew, bro, I'm the person that you should be bringing to the club, bro. I'm the guy that you should be bringing to the club with you. Me and your dad should be the guys you bring to the club with you, man. We know the ins and outs of the club scene, bro. We know how to have a good time at the club. You and your boys are gonna go to the club and you ain't gonna do nothing but look at the girls, man. Nah, man. You walk up to one, man, baby, you fine as hell. Let me dance with you. Baby, you fine as hell. Can I get a dance? That's what you do, man. Don't be scared. It's as simple as that, bro. All right, man. I'm done with the video, man. That's it, man. I'm done, bro.
Broadcast.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope the businessmen really understand why I say what I say. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you guys release these games for the PlayStation community, I promise you I will trade in my PlayStation 3 to GameStop the same day. But you got to make it an announcement that I'll hear about somehow, some way. Please, for the love of God.
Broadcast.
And please, for the next Street Fighter, one last thing. The customization that you were able to do in Street Fighter Cross Tekken was one of the best things that they ever did for Capcom. It was one of the best customization menus that you could ever do for a video game, for a fighting game. It was awesome, man. I mean, I played against guys that made Jin from Tekken and Kazuya from Tekken look like Goku and Gohan. His team was Team Goku, Team Gohan. He had the Super Saiyan hairstyle and everything with the orange pants. It was dope as hell, bro. It was dope as hell. I mean, that means good. If you guys don't know, dope, I know a lot of people think dope is a bad word. For whatever reason, it became a good word again. It became a good word all of a sudden. All right, guys, I'm done. It doesn't really mean a good word, but everyone uses it as a good word. Even though it doesn't really mean a good word, people transformed it into a good word. So I'm done. I'm gonna end the video there. Yeah. That's all white guys do, man. I promise you that. That's why I will never look a black person in their eyes as long as I live. I learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way. They don't stop thinking, bro. They do not stop thinking, bro. Whites and blacks do not stop thinking, bro. Make sure you put your makeup on. Make sure you put a fake beard on, grow a mustache, put on some contacts that change your eye color, change your hair from black to blonde. I don't know what to tell you. Tan your skin, make it look bronze. Get some tanning skin lotion. Put on a pair of fake teeth, put on put on some gold for get like what the rappers get the gold grill, the platinum grills. Put those in your mouth, man. I promise you that. You know what I'm saying? These prophets go too far. These prophets go too far. Get a clue already, bro. I told you I won't for about 10 years now. What more do you want? What more do you want from me, bro? God damn. God damn. You know what I'm saying? And they still owe me money. I still haven't got my goddamn money. The white guys owe me way more than that. They owe me like 20 grand, more than 20 grand. They shiesty with the money, man. And this is money that I actually earned. This is money that I actually earned. And my boss started acting like I ain't nobody, man. After I worked hard for him and made him a lot of money.
Broadcast. Sorry, broadcast. Pause.